What's going down, y'all? It's your boy Ray GQ here, joined as always by my man Jay Rich to talk some NBA prop plays over on PrizePicks for this November 30th, 2022 NBA slate. Massive NBA slate tonight. I'm going to let you know right now, we are going to talk through multiple players that we like. As always, we don't make you pay for picks. Take what you like, leave what you don't like. And I would highly recommend not doing a 6-pick flex over on PrizePicks. I would not do that. Don't do that and come back talking about, one of them missed and my ticket bust. Mix and match. Take what you like, leave what you don't. Just hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Comment below. Let us know what you're rocking with, Jay. I mean, 1 for 1 last night. We talked about Andrew Wiggins over his fantasy score of 29.5. Everybody was on his points at 16.5. Got bumped up to nothing hit. Wiggins, if you took anything with Wiggins besides an under, you missed because he did absolutely nothing last night. And then I talked about Marcus Morris under his points and rebounds of 18.5. A lot of people were worried about that because of no Leonard, no George. When are they ever playing? And Marcus Morris under again. So that was a cash. So overall, 1 for 2 last night. If you took any of the tacos, paired Morris with it, it was a good night overall. So we got some good plays. Hit the model. We checked out the book lines. Let's get into it right now after the intro.
For all the high-flying action, take a step back and relax. It's time to count that money, the NBA props. No look any further. You know what time it is. Presented by PrizePicks, NBA props. Let's
count that money, man. All right, Jay, you see there's a lot of stuff greenlit in the model right now. A lot of stuff is up on the board, Jay, but I want to talk about my top plays. It's between Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid, Jay. Let's go to PrizePicks and just look at Embiid. They're playing Cleveland tonight, and I love them. I love Embiid's fantasy score tonight at 52.5. In the model, it is very high. We will go over to the model and check it out right now. Joel Embiid versus Evan Mobley is averaging 32 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists versus Evan Mobley. And if we just go look at Embiid and what he's been doing in this department, blocks and steals, if you're going to take an over in the fantasy score department or an under, you always have to check what players are doing on the defensive side of the ball. And Embiid, over his last 5 games, has been pretty good in the blocks and steals category, averaging close to 5 blocks and steals over his last 5. If he gets anywhere close to this and gives you 15 points just off of blocks and steals, this should be a good cash for Embiid. Now, Cleveland's defensive rating, I see right here, it looks a little difficult, but if we go back to the model and just check out the fantasy score position right here, you'll see that Embiid, this is a top matchup for the center position. Standard deviation 19.4 because Embiid had a 100-point fantasy game. But on the low end, we have him projected at about 50.9, and on the high end, 89.7, which is insane. He's averaging 70.3 over his last 5. Joel Embiid versus Cleveland, give me over his 52.5 fantasy score.
Yeah, right. I think this is a great play. You know, you talk about Jared Allen probably not going to play in this one, has been getting more minutes for Mobley, but it also means he's going to be facing some of the bigger players in the NBA. And as you mentioned, he has definitely struggled against Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is one of those players that is too big for just about everybody in the NBA. And yeah, the way he's been playing with Maxey, with Harden out, he's the focal point of the offense. It's not Tobias Harris as much as we may want to take his overs today. It is Joel Embiid. And I do like that fantasy score with how well those blocks and steals have been coming for him. He's everything they need. He's all they need, and he's going to probably carry them or try to carry them to a win again tonight. I'm not sure if you want me to take over here and talk about one of my favorite plays, but both my plays today, I got 2. Use of Nurkic over his rebounds at 9.5. I don't know why, Ray, they're giving it to us 9.5. This line is very puzzling. You look at his consistency. Yeah, he's got a couple dud games in there, but the Lakers ain't that good, Ray. Last time he played the Lakers, he had 13 rebounds. The last 10 games he's played the Lakers, he's gone double digits, 9 of those last 10 games. I'm not sure what people are seeing here on the books. It's minus 130 or worse, so that's already a good sign that's probably going to go over. I really like Nurkic again today. Again, the consistency hasn't quite been there, but in my opinion, with how bad the Lakers are at rebounding, there will be plenty of opportunities for him to go over. And like I mentioned, against the Lakers, he seems to step up, play well. 5th best matchup in the NBA for opposing centers, so I do really like him in this one. We have him projected for around, right at his prop, around 9.5, 10. I think 9.5 is too low. It should probably be 10.5, if not 11 on PrizePicks with how great he's been. But he's struggling a little bit, so they're giving us a nice number, Ray, and I'm happy to take it over on PrizePicks.
Well, you're targeting my Lakers and a player that I want to talk about. So as long as there's enough rebounds around for Anthony Davis to cash his fantasy score, you could take all the Nurkic you want because I've got two Anthony Davis plays pulled up. I've got his points, rebounds, and assists, and I also have his points and rebounds again versus Portland. This is a plus matchup for Anthony Davis. You look at what he's been doing from a points, rebounds, and assist standpoint over his last five. The prop is 39.5. He's been averaging 50. I know no LeBron James, right? But on the low end, we're looking at about 43.7. On the high end, 58.1. And then the points and rebounds also. He's been 7 of 7 over his last 7, hitting this number right here. Points and rebounds for AD, a plus matchup. The minutes are there. But what I want, PrizePicks has not listed yet, but they will, and I will wait, and I will be patient. It's Anthony Davis's fantasy score. I'm taking it. I want the over Anthony Davis's fantasy score. Let's just go to props.cash and just take a look at AD in his points, rebounds, and assists, how good that is. Assist allowed from Portland, 25th best matchup for the center position. He's actually been diming a little bit since LeBron's come back, 4 assists and then 6 assists. So he's hit 4 in his back-to-back games. But steals and blocks, Jay. I always talk about steals and blocks. And would you look at that? He averages 4.3 versus Portland. And over his last 5, he's getting you about 5 steals and blocks. Literally versus Phoenix, he hit his fantasy score just off of blocks and steals. He didn't even need to score a point, and he hit his fantasy score right there off of blocks and steals. I'm not anticipating him having 10 blocks and steals in this matchup, but I do think Anthony Davis is going to continue to do this from that department. I think over his last 6 games, he's averaging close to 4 blocks and steals. This is what I like. This is why I want the fantasy score for Anthony Davis, and I will wait. It is not posted yet, but it will. They will put it up. They always try to throw it up late. But in the event, Jay, that they don't, I think you can confidently roll out Anthony Davis's points, rebounds, and assists, or if you want to take his points and rebounds, both of those are solid plays. You know, it looks like it's a tough matchup. I'm not worried about it with Anthony Davis.
His rebounds and assists. Pull his rebounds and assists.
Oh, I'm at rebounds and assists. Now look at
Pull
that.
the rebounds. Look at the last 10. Look at his last 10 for rebounds and assists. You talked, so it's interesting, right? Because Anthony Davis is someone who you don't see as an assist guy, but with LeBron back, that opens up more assist opportunities. He's been getting a lot of assists lately while obviously grabbing down a lot of rebounds. This is probably my favorite line from Davis.
I got it.
I understand getting the points and rebounds, but I think this is really the edge you want to see. Over his last 10 games, he's averaging 17, and that's with a few duds in there. But recently, as you can see, 7 for 7, going well over 14.5. 14.5 has been kind of his baseline number.
Oof.
Without LeBron in the lineup, now that LeBron is back, he will probably continue to get those rebounds, and I do like him to get some more assists. So it is one that PrizePicks won't show us the data on, but if you go and look at the numbers, it is one that is very favorable for him and not one that's been juiced lately. They had his numbers juiced up with LeBron out. They kind of came back to form, but this is the one that has remained pretty good, and I think with LeBron back, it does provide some additional support in the assist department for Davis. The rebounds are there, the points are there, but I think the assists are the X factor for this number, and I think it's a great spot for him to go over yet again.
Jay, I 1000% agree with you. If they do not give us the fantasy score, I think you could roll with the rebounds and assists for AD. I mean, his rebound prop is here at 12.5. I love this rebounds and assist play, Jay. Like, I really do. I think that is the edge. Point is, we are in on Anthony Davis tonight. The fantasy score is what I really want. We'll see if PrizePicks drops it, but Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid are my top 2 players for the picks that I'm recommending on the board today. Jay, go ahead. You got another one. Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal's 3-pointers, Ray. He hasn't been shooting as many threes lately. He's been in a bit of a slump, but the last time he bust out of that slump, who did he play, Ray? It was old Brooklyn, our dear friends of Brooklyn, who just let threes rain down from the shooting guard position. They are dead last in the NBA at allowing threes to opposing shooting guards. Bradley Beal cashed this number in the first quarter last game, going 2 for 2. And so you got it sweat free. It's minus 125 on DraftKings. I believe it's all the way up to minus 155 on Caesars. So DraftKings and MGM have this number a little bit lower. But whether you go to FanDuel, Caesars, PointsBet, all over. So you see here, he's had a couple slump games against some pretty good opponents. Minnesota was a blowout, and Boston has a phenomenal defense. They definitely keyed in on Bradley Beal in that one, but went over in the last 5 before that. And so I do really love this number. 1.5 for Beal is always what I'm looking for. If I can get it plus money, great. But on PrizePicks, I'm getting it at minus 130 or so, depending on where you look. I love that against the Brooklyn Nets because they just let threes rain down on them. And like I mentioned, sweat free in the first quarter the last time they played. I do like this one again tonight.
All right, Jay, I like it. I told you whenever you recommended initially, I was like, yeah, I'm going to play Beal's threes. I mean, 1.5 is low. He's going to chuck enough. Brooklyn allows it. It's a great matchup. Trust the data. And he's averaging about 2.7. So I like it. Brook Lopez, another underrated player. I don't think people pay attention to, especially when it comes to the fantasy score. And you can look at New York and it says opponent allowed ranked 25th, but you look what Brook Lopez has been doing his fantasy score wise over his last 5. He's averaging about 35, standard dev of 3, which means on the low end, he's getting you about 31, and on the high end, 38. It's one of the highest edges in our model for the fantasy score. Now, I will say the one fear with Brook Lopez is we've seen his minutes go down just a little bit over the past 5 games. Right here, you see 32, 27, and 23 minutes versus Dallas. But plus matchup versus the Knicks. And Jay, what do I always talk about with fantasy score? Blocks and steals. You want to take a look at this game log from Brook Lopez?
Yeah, I'm sure it's good.
It's
right?
insane. I mean, versus the Knicks, he's averaging 4, 5, 6. 2 versus Chicago, 6, 5, 4. This is it, right? Brook Lopez blocks, minus 165 on the books at 1.5 blocks. And if you go to a steals, probably half a steal, just a little bit to the under. But he does it on the defensive side, Jay. Now, if I were going to prioritize this play, it would definitely be after Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Bradley Beal. It would be down the list. But I just wanted to highlight it as I think it's a solid play. I would not recommend it as a core, right? I wouldn't mix and match this with 6 or 8 picks, but I do like Brook Lopez's fantasy score because of what he's doing on the defensive side of the ball. And you're playing the Knicks, right? What is Julius Randle? I mean, he likes to shoot as well, but Brunson, Randle, Barrett, they attack the rim. Plenty of opportunity for Brook Lopez. Now, the Knicks did play last night, so you got to be worried about a blowout here. Like the Milwaukee just gets up on them and it's a blowout. What do you think, Jay?
So I'm with you. The thing with the Knicks, though, is they rested their starters yesterday, right? Detroit pulled their starters in the third quarter. Jalen Brunson only played 18 minutes yesterday. It is a travel day for them, so they were in Detroit last night. But yeah, I'm not too worried about the minutes because, the only one who really played a lot was Julius Randle because it was his birthday. He put up 30 points. Good for him. Great. But now they're playing Milwaukee, a game that really matters on their schedule. So I do think that it was a great spot. I do like Lopez. For people who watch channel frequently, I've been talking about his points and assists. His points and assists have been a very good number for us lately. Like you mentioned, the minutes have kind of gone down a bit, but to your point, early in the season, remember I told you, every game Brook Lopez gets 2 blocks.
Yep.
Every game this guy gets 2 blocks, and as you see in the game log, he's been doing much better than that on top of that. So I'm definitely with you on this one. I do like it a lot. I think there will be rebound opportunities. He can hit threes from outside. He does a lot defensively. He's going to be heavily involved. I think they will need him a little bit against this Knicks team.
All right, these next 2 plays I'm going to talk about are not core recommended, but I just want to throw it out there. Marcus Morris, 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists versus Utah. This is a tough matchup for Morris. The thing is, Jay, even though he went under his points and rebounds last night, he still shot the ball 13 times. He still hoisted up 5 3-pointers. So I don't expect him to go 3 for 13, 0 for 5 from 3 again, but just calling it out there. It's one that I'm always watching and paying attention to. I love those unders, and this is a difficult matchup. Morris is only averaging 17.4 points, rebounds, and assists. Versus Utah, this could get out of hand with Morris actually trying to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I just want to call it out. If you want to take an under, this is one of the better edges for an under in our model. And then I want to talk about Bol Bol versus Atlanta, his fantasy score, number 2 matchup for power forwards versus Atlanta. I mean, they're giving up 64 per game versus the power forward position. And Bol Bol's been coming on, man. I mean, he's scoring points, he's rebounding, he's diming, and he's getting you a couple of blocks and steals in every game, right? Again, not a core play, but I like it. I'm going to run Bol Bol on a couple of slips. It's not going to be a core play, but I do want to say this is a plus matchup for him. Kind of want to ride that wave, man. He's been really good lately. He's playing really good ball. Is there anybody else that you want to talk about, Jay, before we kind of wrap up what our core plays are? We done talked about like 10 damn players.
So, Ray, I got to ask you because every day, man, people asking us in the comments, Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Are you going to the assists? 11.5 is the number they got out there for old Tyrese. But, Ray, as people know, if you are paying attention, he's hit 14-plus assists in 5 of the last 6 games, with his lowest output being 11. A revenge game. playing the Kings. Last time he played the Kings, well, his only time he's played the Kings since he's been traded, he had 15 assists. Now, he didn't score very well. I believe he only scored 6 points, but he did put up 15 assists. Ray, can I interest you in Tyrese Halliburton, 11.5 assists?
I would give myself some wiggle room with the points and assists, and that's at 31.5. Sacramento's defense 27th in points allowed.
Over under 241 if it hasn't moved yet. It opened up, I believe, around 241. Insanely high. There will be points in this one for sure.
It's high, man, but damn, 13.6 over his last 5. It's just scary, man. It's just that number being that high is just terrifying. He's got to get 12 assists in the game. I would take the points and assists if I did it. I'm not going to do it as a core. It's probably going to go over. But I think I'd be fine sitting that one out, Jay. I'd be fine sitting out the Hallie play. I think our core plays, Joel Embiid, more than 52.5 fantasy score. Yusuf Nurkic, over 9.5 rebounds. Anthony Davis, par fantasy score for me. Once the fantasy score gets listed, but I do like this rebounds and assist number quite a bit. I like everything for Anthony Davis. Bradley Beal, 1.5 threes. And then we also talked about Bol Bol. Talked a little bit about Marcus Morris under. I'll probably leave the Morris under alone, just keeping it real with you. I want to talk about Paolo, man. Paolo was very profitable for us. Where are you at with Paolo? The points at only 20.5 points for Paolo.
They look good, man. So the two ones that popped in my model for me was Paolo's points and his points and assists at 23.5, mainly because I know that he can get there with just the points, and you have a little bit of juice with the assists as well. He can be a playmaker if he's struggling from the field, and if he's not, then he will just score. But I think the only problem is that we are expecting who is one of the Orlando guards expected to be back tonight. So that hurts his assist potential a little bit. But if you want the points at 20.5, you got my blessing, man. I do like it quite a bit. I think it's a really fair line for Paolo. He's a guy that anytime early in the year under 20 points, we were hammering it. So why aren't we hammering that 20.5?
It's true.
I think it's a fair line. I think it'll be up and down, and he'll probably be heavily involved. It's on his first game back, so he should be more working the offense. I do like that line a lot. When I saw it, I was like, I can get down with some Paolo at 20.5. I think it's a very fair line, and you can easily go over that number.
All right, there it is. Embiid and Davis for me, Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic for Jay Rich. Every other play that we recommended, if you take it, don't come back here complaining if they don't hit, right? These are our core 4, but there were some additional plays. It's a massive slate, man. We're having fun. If you bankroll manage, make sure your unit allocation is right, even when you miss. I mean, that's the ebbs and flows of betting. You should be okay. And it's fun, man. There's a lot of good games on it. I think there's a lot of value on the board over on PrizePicks today. So take what you like, leave what you don't. Please, please, please just hit the thumbs up button on your way out of the building. If you tail, give PrizePicks hell. And if we fail, do not bail. We'll be back tomorrow with more NBA picks. For Jay, for Ray, we're out of this thing. Good luck. Good night. Peace.